Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Dr. Brian, a urologist and pelvic surgeon. Today we're diving into a topic that doesn't get nearly enough attention, but absolutely should. Intimate positions that many women are curious to explore, but that often go unnoticed or avoided by male partners. Before we begin, I want to be clear. This video isn't about blame or criticism. It's about fostering open, respectful conversations, encouraging curiosity, and most importantly, supporting deeper connection and shared pleasure. As always, mutual consent and honest communication are the foundation. So, let's talk about sexual wellness. One of the most neglected yet essential elements is variety, and specifically understanding why certain positions may be more meaningful for women than some men realize. In both clinical settings and research, a clear pattern emerges. Many women seek intimate experience that not only provide physical satisfaction, but also build image. Unfortunately, the positions that best support both of these needs often skipped or never suggested. So, what's behind this disconnect? One major factor is social conditioning. We live in a culture where male pleasure is frequently placed front and center, and in many cases, seen as the main indicator of a successful sexual encounter. If the man reaches climax, the experience is often deemed satisfying, even if the woman felt overlooked, unheard. But true intimacy isn't defined by one-sided pleasure. In fact, studies consistently show that women are more likely to experience orgasm when clitoral stimulation and emotional connection are part of the sexual experience. Purely penetrative or performance-based approaches often miss the mark. Let's bring this to life with a practical example. One position that women frequently mention is the face-to-face straddle, often known as cowgirl or a seated variation. Let's the mind-body connection in female pleasure talk about the woman on top position. From a functional standpoint, this posture gives the woman the ability to control depth, pace, and angle. Factors that can directly stimulate both the clitoris and G-spot, depending on her anatomy. But there's more to it than just physical sensation. This position brings partners face to face, enabling sustained eye contact, shared touch, and full visual connection. That level of intimacy can be incredibly impactful. It's not just about physical mechanics. It's about being emotionally present and feeling truly seen. Yet, despite the many benefits, some men shy away from trying. Why? The most frequent reasons are tied to control. They may feel as though they're relinquishing domain, or they're uncertain about what to do when they're not directing the action. That hesitation is understandable, but it also represents a missed opportunity. When your partner leads, it doesn't make your role any less important. It actually enriches the experience. It opens the door for shared exploration, deeper trust, and emotion. And those elements aren't just nice to have. They're fundamental to a satisfying, intimate connection. Another position worth discussing is the seated lap position. While it may seem like just a variation on the surface, it offers a completely different dynamic. It tends to be slower, more connected, and allows both people to be more in tune with each other's physical and emotional cues. Women frequently share that this position makes them feel supported, emotionally close, and deeply present in the moment. And yet, it's often overlooked, possibly because it doesn't align with stereotypical ideas of masculinity or dominance. But here's the reality. Fulfilling sex isn't about asserting control. It's about showing up with presence. It's about tuning into your partner's body, their emotions, their needs, and choosing to be fully engaged in that shared moment. When we overlook the emotional and psychological dins of sex, we end up diminishing the experience, not just for all partners, but for ourselves as well. Extensive research on female or sexual satisfaction consistently shows that it's not solely about physical touch. It's about feeling truly desired and safe in thought, vulnerability. Positions that encourage eye contact, full body closeness, and the space to communicatively all contribute to building that sense of safety and trust. And once Sato's foundational elements are in place, everything else tends to flow more naturally. Arousal heightens, pleasure becomes more accessible, and orgasms occur more frequently and easily. It's also important to remember that no two women are the same, and that's completely normal. Some women may not enjoy being on top, while others might find emotional intimacy even more intimidating than physical closeness. This is exactly why open, honest communication is so crucial. The goal is to ask questions, to really listen, and to remain genuinely curious. What helps her feel good? What makes her feel emotionally at ease? By creating this kind of dialogue, you build a relationship where both people feel free and safe to express their desires and needs. One of the most persistent myths about sex is that spontaneity always makes it better. But in reality, when partners engage in open conversations and explore new things based on shared feedback, overall satisfaction significantly improves. Being open to entering a position your partner has expressed interest in, especially if it's something they've directly brought up, isn't just physical flexibility, it's an act of care. It sends a clear message. I see you. Your pleasure matters to me. I want to explore this, and that kind of message has a lasting impact. It resonates far beyond just what happens in the bedroom. If you're someone who sticks to one or two familiar positions and feels unsure about stepping outside that comfort zone, Position 1, Emotional Eye Position number 1. Emotional eye contact, contact alignment. If you're hesitant to try something new in the bedroom, take a moment to ask yourself, what's really holding me back? Is it discomfort? Fear of not doing it right? Just unfamiliarity? All of these reactions are perfectly natural, but they shouldn't be the reason you miss out on something that could bring more intimacy and fulfillment into your relationship. Start small. Treat it like an experience. You might be surprised to find that surrendering control isn't a loss. It's actually a gain. A gain in trust, mutual satisfaction, and potentially even deeper emotional connection. So when we say women are eager to try certain positions, it's not always about fantasy or novelty. Often it's about feeling valued. It's about creating a space where both partners are engaged, equal participants in shared pleasure, curiosity, and connection. And when men meet that moment with openness, humility, and a genuine willingness to learn, the rewards can be profound. Your partner's pleasure isn't just her responsibility, it's a collaborative. And the more we embrace that perspective, the healthier and more satisfying our sex lives and relationships become. When the topic of improving intimacy comes up, people often assume it requires drastic changes, new positions, complex techniques, or even toys and but what's often overlooked is that the biggest improvements usually come from subtle thought. In fact, many women report significantly enhanced pleasure from just a few minor shifts, whether that's in positioning, pacing, or physical support. These tweaks aren't complicated, but they are often missed. Let's look at one of the simplest and most effective examples. Placing a pillow beneath the hips daring penetrative sex, particularly in missionary or other front-facing positions. It might sound basic, but a small change can dramatically impair comfort, depth, and anatomic. By gently elevating the pelvis, you change the angle of neutral. For many women, this allows the penis to make better contact with anterior vaginal wall where VEG spot is typically located. That added stimulation, even without doing anything else differently, can boost both arousal and the likelihood of orgasm. And yet, this adjustment often doesn't even cross people's minds. Why? Because there's a common misconception that sex should just work naturally, or that altering the environment somehow disrupts the mood. But the truth is, sex isn't a performance. It's an experience. Taking a moment to improve comfort or enhance sensation isn't breaking the mood. It's deepening it. And when that simple enhancement leads to position number two, mutual rhythm and flow, when a small adjustment leads to a better experience, for your partner, the impact goes beyond their physical. It builds deeper emotional connection, strengthens trust, and paves the way for more open, honest exploration in the future. Take for instance a shift in rhythm from fast, deep thrusting to slower, more deliberate movements. This isn't moralia, matter of preference for many women. It's an important physical need. Rapid, forceful penetration can sometimes feel overwhelming or even painful, especially for women managing conditions like endometriosis, pelvic floor dysfunction, or vaginal dryness. A slower, more mindful pace gives the body time to adjust, allows arousal to reset gradually, and helps align clitoral stimulation with penetration, all of which make orgasm more attainable. And this isn't just based on it's backed by research. Studies consistently reveal that most women do not reach orgasm through penetration alone. Clitoral stimulation through touch, grinding, consistent pressure, or friction is almost always a necessary component. So, if a position doesn't naturally support that kind of stimulation, adapting thingel or rhythm to incorporate Beckham's. Again, we're talking about subtle shifts. Tilting the hip slightly, moderating the depth of, or adding hand stimulation. A revin, a vibrator can elevate an average sexual experience into something far more satisfying and meaningful. Unfortunately, many couples avoid this kind of experimentation. Not because of fear don't care, but because of fear. Fear of messing it up. Fear of disrupting the mood. Fear of being judged or rejected. But the truth is, intimacy is meant to be exploratory. It's not supposed to follow a script or look like a flawless performance. It's okay, healthy even, to pause, talk, and make adjustments. In fact, this kind of communication is exactly what contributes to long-term sex. When your partner feels safe enough to share what feels good or what doesn't, and you respond with careened attentiveness, you create a foundation of emotional safety. And emotional safety is not just a niceness. It's the very heart of fulfilling, connected, pleasurably. Let's also take a moment to look at another, often overlooked body. Position number three. Deep connection, laying side by side, deep connection. Laying side by side. Let's talk about support, not just emotionally, but physically. Many sexual positions that seem enticing in theory often prove uncomfortable or unsustainable in practice. Maybe your knees start to ache, your lower back tightens, or your partner struggles to maintain balance. These physical discomforts aren't just they can become real barriers to pleasure. So, when we speak about making small adjustments, we are also talking about using bolsters, incorporating chairs or stable furniture for support, or even switching to a softer surface. Comfort during intimacy is a luxury. It's a necessity for creating relaxed, connected, and pleasurable experiences. Take doggy style or other rear entry positions, for example, placing a pillow under thetis or supporting the hips with your hands can ease lower back strain for their receiving partner. This added support not only makes the position more comfortable, but also gives your partner more control and stability. It helps maintain a steady angle, reduce discomfort, and creates a smoother, more predictable rhythm. These small enhancements don't make the experience less passionate. They make it more sustainable and aligned with both partners' physical needs. The same logic applies to transitions. If a position isn't working or doesn't feel right, it's perfectly okay to shift midway. In fact, transitions can become part of the shared intimacy. Slow, intentional, and guided by mutual responsiveness. One of the most supportive things a partner can do in these moments is simply ask, "How does this feel?" or want to try a different angle. When these questions are asked gently and without pressure, they invite honest feedback. And when Simone feels truly heard, they relax more and pleasure naturally follows. We also need to address a common and limiting belief that men are supposed to just know what to do in bed, and that asking for input signals weakness. That idea holds everyone back. The truth is, no one understands your partner's body better than they do. So asking what feels good or what might feel even better isn't a failure. It's a sign of emotional intelligence. It's an act of care. And that willingness to adapt to thoughtful micro-adjustments is exactly what transforms ordinary sex into extraordinary intimacy. So when we talk about improving pleasure through small changes, what we're really talking about is presence, curiosity, openness. It's about checking in, slowing down, adding a pillow, shifting a leg. Whatever little step brings greater comfort and connection to both people, and those so-called little things. They're actually huge. They're the building blocks of satisfaction, of deep trust, and of long-term sexual well-being. If there's one factor that consistently leads to better sex in all types of relationships, it's not technique or even perfect physical compatibility, it's communication. That might sound simple. Position 4, her position, number 4, her on top, emotion in control, on top, emotion in control. While our communication might sound like a simpler concept, in reality, it's one of the most challenging aspects of intimacy for many couples. There's a common belief that sex should unfold naturally, that your partner should just know what you want, or that discussing concerns will somehow ruin the mood. But, in truth, meaningful and pleasurable sex rarely happens in silence. It thrives in an environment where both people feel safe, truly heard, and empowered to express their thoughts and needs. And that kind of connection starts with open, honest dialogue. In clinical practice, I often speak with individuals, both men and women, who are dealing with mismatched desires, physical discomfort during sex, or emotional disconnection from their partners. And more often than not, when we dig deeper, it all leads back to the core issue. They haven't been thinking about it. Sometimes it's due to fear of rejection. Other times, it's embarrassment. And very often, it's because no one ever taught us how to communicate about sex in a respectful, healthy, and constructive way. But avoiding those conversations doesn't protect the relationship. It only creates space for dissatisfaction, misinterpretation, and event. One pattern I frequently observe is women expressing interest in exploring new positions or experience within long-term relationships. And here's something important to remember. You don't have to wait for a problem to have these conversations. In fact, Phoebe's time to talk about your preference or curiosity is outside the bedroom, when there's no pressure to perform or react in the spot. These discussions can be simple and approachable. Questions like, is there something you've always wanted to try? Or, is there anything I could do to make things feel even better for you? Questions like these open the door to authentic, non-engagement. They also send a powerful message that you're not just focused on your own satisfaction. You're invested in your partner's experience, too. It's equally important to acknowledge that not every new idea will feel immediately comfortable, and that's completely okay. Healthy communication isn't about pushing or demanding. It's about if your partner brings you a new position they'd like to try, or expresses a desire, it's not a reflection of inadequacy on your part. It's a sign that they feel safe enough with you to share something deeper. Responding to that with openness and curiosity, not defensiveness, builds trust. And where trust grows, intimacy thrives. Not just physically, but emotionally as well. On the other side, if you're the one initiating a conversation about something you'd like to explore, do it with both kindness and clarity. Be mindful not to frame your request in a way that sounds like a critique or complaint. Position 5. Open trust and position number 5. Open trust and power. Exchange power. Exchange. Instead of saying, you never do what I like, try saying something like, I really enjoy it when you do this. I'd love for us to explore it more often. By framing your desires with positive reinforcement and mutual curiosity, you invite a more open and receptive dialogue. And keep in mind, this isn't about keeping score or proving anything. It's about deepening their connection and creating a stronger, more fulfilling sexual bond. Another valuable approach is to communicate not just before or after sex, but during that our bodies naturally speak through shifts in breath and movement, but adding verbal feedback, saying things like, right there, a little slower, or can we try it this way, can make a powerful difference. The secret lies in how you say it with kindness, attentiveness, and zero. Make it an ongoing conversation, not a critique. Emotional presence during intimacy is just as vital as physical skill. When a partner feels truly seen, heard, and responded to in real time, it opens up the space to relax fully and explore their own pleasure, without fear or pressure. That's where real mutual satisfaction comes from. Not just technique, but emotional safety. This becomes especially important for partners dealing with sexual pain, past trauma, or anxiety around intimacy. Strong communication helps both people navigate those challenges together instead of viewing them as roadblocks. If something hurts hearing, let's pause or can switch positions shouldn't be met with. It should be met with. That small moment of listening might not seem like much. Beauty can be the difference between your partner emotionally shutting down or feeling seen, supported, and eager to keep exploring with you. And here's something that can't be said enough. Good communication isn't a one-time fix. It's a continuous process. Your partner's body changes. What worked 2 years ago might feel totally different today. And that's not only okay, it's normal. Staying attuned to each other, checking in regularly, and growing together over time. That's what creates a sexual relationship that lasts and thrives. So whether you're in the beginning stages of a new relationship or decades And ask yourself, are we talking enough? Are we holding space for each other's needs? Are we staying curious? Because when communication is present, everything goes: trust, pleasure, excitement, host space.